The Galactic Dominion had conquered thousands of worlds. Entire civilizations had fallen before their fleets. Planets with armies of billions had surrendered after seeing just one Dominion warship in orbit. But there was one strange planet they had been watching for centuries. A small blue world on the edge of an unimportant spiral arm. Earth. The Dominion had studied countless intelligent species, but humans confused them. Humans fought each other constantly. Their technology was primitive compared to the Dominion's. Their governments were divided. Logically, they should have been easy to conquer. And yet, something about them felt dangerous. So the Dominion Council made a decision. Deploy the Vanguard. The Vanguard were not soldiers. They were monsters. Genetically engineered warriors, taller than any human, their bones stronger than steel, their skin resistant to plasma fire. Each one had destroyed entire civilizations before. 20 of them were sent. 20 was enough to conquer most planets. Their ship entered Earth's orbit silently. No warning. No message. Just invasion. First contact. The Vanguard landed in the deserts of Nevada. Their leader, Karzul, scanned the planet through his helmet. Primitive cities. Primitive weapons. Primitive defenses. He laughed, "This will be quick." The Dominion command watching from orbit agreed. Human fighter jets were scrambling, but compared to Dominion technology, they were nothing more than toys. The Vanguard marched toward the nearest military base. Within minutes, the first human soldiers appeared. Tiny creatures compared to them. Karzul stepped forward. "Surrender your planet," he said through the translator. The humans didn't surrender. Instead, they opened fire. Bullets slammed into the Vanguard's armor. They bounced off. Karzul laughed again. Pathetic. He raised his arm and fired a plasma blast. The entire human defense line vanished in a wall of fire. From orbit, Dominion commanders watched calmly. "Resistance minimal," one officer reported. "Expected," the admiral replied. But the humans didn't stop. More vehicles arrived. Tanks. Helicopters. Missiles. Explosions filled the desert. One Vanguard was hit by a direct missile strike. The dust cleared. He was still standing. The Dominion officers chuckled. "This world will fall within hours." They were wrong. The first problem. 30 minutes later, something unexpected happened. The humans changed tactics. They stopped attacking directly. Instead, they disappeared. The desert went silent. Karzul frowned. "Cowards," he growled. But one Vanguard soldier spoke. "Commander, they are surrounding us." Hidden human forces had spread across the mountains. Snipers. Drones. Special forces. Humans were studying them. Testing them. Learning. Then the traps began. Human creativity. A Vanguard stepped forward. The ground exploded beneath him. A massive underground mine. The blast didn't kill him, but it damaged his armor. Immediately, human snipers fired specialized armor-piercing rounds. The wounded Vanguard fell. The Dominion officers in orbit went silent. That was the first Vanguard ever killed by a primitive species. Karzul roared with rage. "Find them!" The Vanguard charged into the mountains. But the humans didn't fight like normal soldiers. They used guerrilla tactics. Ambushes. Traps. Improvised weapons. One Vanguard walked through a canyon. The cliffs collapsed. Buried under thousands of tons of rock. Another was lured into a city. The humans detonated an entire building to trap him. Humans were fragile. But they were clever. And terrifyingly determined. The second problem. Hours turned into days. Dominion command grew uneasy. The vanguard should have already conquered Earth. Instead, 7 were dead. 3 missing. Human forces were adapting faster than predicted. One Dominion scientist finally said something shocking. "Admiral, humans evolve strategies in real time." "What do you mean?" "They are learning how to kill us." The turning point. Karzal had never lost a battle. But now only 6 vanguard remained. They moved toward a human city. New York. Millions of humans. Karzal planned to destroy it completely. Fear would break the planet. But when they arrived, the city was empty. Completely abandoned. "Where are they?" one vanguard asked. Then the ground shook. Hidden explosives detonated across the entire city. Bridges collapsed. Skyscrapers fell. The humans had turned their own city into a weapon. 2 more vanguard died in the destruction. Karzal screamed in fury. "These creatures are insane." Dominion panic. Back in orbit, the Dominion command ship received a transmission from Earth. A human general appeared on screen. "You came here thinking we were weak." He leaned closer to the camera. "You sent your strongest." The general smiled. "We sent volunteers." Behind him were thousands of soldiers preparing for battle. "We will fight you in the deserts. In the cities. In the oceans. In space if we have to." The general's voice became cold. "And if every human dies, the last one will still try to kill you." The transmission ended. Silence filled the Dominion command deck. Then a sensor officer spoke in panic. "Admiral, human ships are launching. Primitive rockets. Hundreds of them. Some were missiles. Some were fighters. Some were simply bombs with engines. They were attacking the Dominion ship." "Suicide attacks," the admiral whispered. "They are willing to destroy themselves, just to hurt us." The end of the vanguard. On Earth, the last vanguard stood alone. Karzal. Surrounded by thousands of human soldiers. Tanks. Jets. Artillery. He killed hundreds. Maybe thousands. But humans kept coming. Finally, a single human soldier approached him. Injured. Bleeding. But still walking. Karzal laughed weakly. "You are the last one?" The soldier shook his head. "No." He pointed to the horizon. Millions of humans were arriving. Karzal realized something terrifying. Humans weren't afraid of dying. They were afraid of losing. And they would never stop fighting. The last thing Karzal saw was a nuclear explosion. Final report to the Galactic Dominion. The Dominion fleet retreated from Earth. Their final report to the Council said, "We deployed our strongest warriors to crush the humans. None returned. Recommendation: never invade Earth again." Because the galaxy had finally learned the truth. Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the most advanced. But they were the most dangerous. Because humans never stop fighting. And when everything is lost, they fight even harder. The Dominion thought the nightmare was over. Their fleet had escaped Earth orbit. Their strongest warriors, the Vanguard, were dead. The mission was supposed to be simple. Invade. Crush the humans. Claim the planet. Instead, they had lost everything. The Dominion flagship Eternal Authority drifted silently through deep space. Inside the command chamber, fear filled the air. The Admiral stared at the battle report. 20 Vanguard deployed. 0 returned. Billions of credits worth of military technology lost. And worst of all, the humans had managed to damage the flagship during their desperate attack. Primitive missiles had slammed into the ship's shield generators. The damage wasn't catastrophic, but it was humiliating. A primitive species had actually hurt a Dominion warship. That had never happened before. Not in 10,000 years. The admiral turned toward the science officer. "Explain something to me." The officer hesitated. "Sir? How did they do it?" The officer swallowed. "Humans do something very unusual during combat." The admiral narrowed his eyes. "What?" "They improvise." The human problem. Across the Dominion Empire, news of the failed invasion spread quickly. Many species in the galaxy feared the Dominion. But now whispers began spreading. A primitive species had defeated them. The Council demanded answers. Scientists studied every recorded battle from Earth. The results were disturbing. Humans had shown traits rarely seen in other intelligent life. Rapid tactical adaptation. Extreme risk-taking. Willingness to sacrifice themselves. Creativity under pressure. Emotional bonding that increased combat efficiency. One researcher summarized it in a single sentence. Humans fight like cornered predators, even when they're winning. 3 weeks after the invasion, Dominion long-range scanners detected something impossible. A ship. Leaving the solar system. Human. The admiral stared at the report. That's impossible. Humans barely had interplanetary travel. They were not capable of interstellar flight. Yet the sensor readings were clear. The vessel was using a crude version of faster-than-light travel. Stolen technology. Reverse engineered from the wreckage left behind by the Vanguard battle. The admiral whispered in disbelief. They learned FTL in 3 weeks? The science officer nodded slowly. Yes, sir. And they're coming toward us. Humanity's first warship. The human vessel was ugly. Uneven metal plates. Improvised engines. Weapons mounted everywhere. It looked like a flying junkyard. But the Dominion crew quickly realized something terrifying. The ship was armed. Very heavily armed. Railguns. Missiles. Experimental plasma cannons built from salvaged alien parts. And the ship carried a name painted across the hull. HFS Defiance. The first human interstellar warship. The message. Before the human ship reached firing range, a transmission arrived. The Dominion bridge fell silent. The screen flickered on. A human woman appeared. She wore a military uniform. Behind her stood dozens of soldiers. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Human Federation ship Defiance. Her voice was calm. Cold. You attacked our world. You killed our people. She leaned closer to the camera. You thought we were weak. The admiral felt something strange for the first time in centuries. Fear, the captain continued. Now we know you exist. And now. Humans are coming. The transmission ended. Dominion realization. The science officer spoke quietly. Sir, this may become a serious problem. The admiral stared at the approaching human ship. One ship is not a problem. The officer shook his head. That's not what I meant. He pulled up a new scan of the solar system. Hundreds of construction signals. Shipyards. Weapons factories. Human governments working together for the first time in history. Humans are mobilizing. The admiral whispered. For war. The officer finished the sentence. For revenge. The beginning of the human age. The Dominion Council held an emergency meeting. One ancient member finally spoke. We made a mistake. Another asked. What mistake? The elder replied. We woke up humanity. Across Earth, humanity had changed. Old conflicts were fading. New technologies were appearing. Alien materials, alien weapons, alien engines. Humans were learning everything and improving it faster than anyone expected. A young Dominion analyst summarized it best. Other species copy technology. Humans upgrade it. Final warning. 6 months later. Dominion deep space sensors detected something terrifying. Not one human ship. Not 10. Thousands. A massive fleet leaving the solar system. At the front of the formation. The HFS Defiance. The first ship. The beginning. The message sent to the Dominion Council was short. Very short. Humanity has entered the galaxy. Pray they are feeling merciful.